During the lead-up to the 2005 disengagement, the expulsion of Jews from Gaza, Yekutiel Ben Yaakov held a private referendum on the question of whether Jews should be indiscriminately expelled or if hostile Arabs should be forced out. For this referendum, Yekutiel was brought up on charges and convicted by the Israeli government. But now a reversal has taken place. Shalom, Yekutiel.
Shalom.
Now, late last week, the court battle turned in your favor. What exactly happened?
Well, what happened was I was originally convicted in the Jerusalem Beit Mishpat Shalom in the magistrate court. I was originally convicted of incitement to racism for floating a referendum back before the Hitnatkut, before the expulsion, where I offered the Jews in Israel to decide which type of disengagement they prefer. If they prefer the expulsion of the Jews from Gush Katif and the northern Shomron, or if they prefer the expulsion of the Arab enemies from these areas. Which disengagement would bring peace and security to Ashkelon and other major cities in Israel? That was the question. And I was actually found guilty of incitement to racism. And this decision was overturned last week in district court in Yerushalayim. Thank God it was overturned, but it was overturned, unfortunately, due to a technicality. It wasn't that the judges came to their senses and said, well, if it's not incitement, I mean, I was hoping they would say, hey, if it's not incitement to throw the Jews out, then how could it be incitement to speak of the Jewish alternative of expelling our enemies? I was hoping that there would be some sanity brought into the courtroom. The prosecution was unable to substantiate their claim that there had been public dissemination, distribution of this referendum or this incitement to racism. In other words, the courts viewed this referendum as incitement to racism, but due to the fact that it couldn't be proven that it was actually distributed, that specific flyer that they referred to, I was acquitted.
Can the prosecution still appeal?
It would be a very difficult appeal to make because really this is such an outrageous case, not just the essence of the case, that this can be referred to as racism, but there really was no proof provided that this flyer was even distributed. The prosecution did not do their homework, thank God, and therefore, there's no grounds to bring this back into court, I hope.
Could you tell our audience what exactly was the referendum and what did you hope to accomplish by it?
Okay, well, the idea was we really wanted to reveal the ugliness and the racism of the actual disengagement expulsion plan in the first place. To speak of and to actively expel 10,000 Jews from their homes. Obviously, that's something which is a violation of Torah, something which destroyed the lives of these people, something which endangers all Jews in Eretz Yisrael. We wanted to do something to protest this outrage, and we thought there could be nothing better than actually showing the reverse side of this coin. Talking about and offering a real alternative. Because the fact of the matter is, Likud, Labor, Mavdal, and all the others, no one offers an alternative to surrendering Jewish land and pursuing fake peace. We don't hear a solution. I mean, there is no solution other than taking the enemies of Israel and putting them far beyond the point where they can endanger Jews. I mean, if you want to, we wanted to really say here, if you want to disengage from the Arabs, if the Arabs is the problem, and if you're frightened of Arab terror, and if you want to bring peace and security to Jews in Israel, well, you're not going to achieve that by throwing Jews out of their homes and bringing the terrorists that much closer to Ashkelon and Sderot. You may achieve that, you definitely will achieve that, if you take the hostile Arabs who are endangering Israel and you distance them from Israel and create a security zone.
So does this mean that it's now not only legal to call for the expulsion of Jews, but for the expulsion of Arabs as well?
Well, there is a technical legal distinction that can be drawn, and it was understood, if not explicitly, it was something that could be deduced from all the discussions in the court, that if somebody calls for the expulsion of specific hostile Arabs, that would not be considered racist. To call for the expulsion of all Jews from a given area, that's fine. But speaking about the general expulsion of all Arabs from a given area, that is considered racism. The way to qualify it legally, and the way to beat it in court, hopefully, if we should be brought to court in the future for continuing the referendum, is to qualify that we're calling for the expulsion of hostile Arabs.
Now, will you be continuing the referendum since the Jews of Gaza have already been expelled?
We are continuing the referendum because, unfortunately, now Judea, Samaria, parts of Jerusalem are on the chopping block. God forbid the government is pursuing fake peace, surrendering land, endangering more Jews, bringing Qassam rockets, God forbid, to Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Petah Tikva. So there's a need to continue the referendum to reveal the ugly plans of this government, to try and stop it, to try and show how outrageous it is and how dangerous these plans are. We have a website where we're presently rebuilding it, but the new question is up on the website. It's www.referendumforisrael.com, or in Hebrew, www.mishal. Mishal in Hebrew means referendum, mishal.org. And people can get up there. I'm not sure if the voting I think people can still vote, can now vote on the new question. And anybody who wants to hear more about this, www.voiceofjudea.com has regular updates on what's going on with the referendum and with those of us that are trying to float the referendum.
Yekutiel Ben Yaakov, thank you very much.
Thank you, and Shana Tova.